Coach Monk has told you whether you're starting or not, but just getting out there finally and playing in a real game.
I'm super excited. I think all the hard work that I put in with the training staff, with all my team, my personal team, to get to this stage has been tremendous for myself. So I'm super excited, for those opportunities, and can't wait for it.
Deshaun, can you talk about the way that just over the past week, at least from my vantage point, it seems like it's really kind of come together for you and your performance has elevated by leaps and bounds going back to maybe like last Wednesday. You've been stacking good practices. Kind of what's going on there with you?
Just getting comfortable with what Coach Monken has, wanted us to do as a QB and as a team, and what is he looking for? He's trying to get on the same page on how he calling plays in certain situations. So, my job every day is what I live by, is just keep trying to win the day, and every day I just take it one day at a time. Can't rush anything, and let the football that I've been doing for my whole life just kind of take care of itself. So. Again, I'm in a good spot, and just keep trying to work and find ways to get better.
Deshaun, when you think back to some of those earlier interceptions, around the last time we talked to you, looking back on them now, how much of that was maybe due to you experimenting, trying different things, like kind of like you talked about last time?
Yeah, I mean, I think every interception isn't, especially at this time of the year, you kind of got to look at them differently. In certain situations, what are we working on? What throws are we working on? Have I tried this throw before? We might have tried it in routes in air and see if I can try it in a live period. And, sometimes the defense make a good job, and then also, sometimes it might be a bad throw or a bad decision. So you kind of got to grow from them, and it's better to have those moments now rather than an actual game.
I guess off that, how do you kind of go through, I know you talked about this last time you were up too, how do you kind of go through mentally figuring out, like, all right, this is a session where I should try some things, I can try some things, versus this is one where I want to make sure, like, I'm just going to take what the defense is giving me and kind of work the most with it?
Yeah, I think it goes back to, in between periods, just making sure that, I'm on the same page with what period we're working on. Is it third down? Is it third and short? Is it fourth down? Is it red zone? Is it first and 10? Is it opportunities where we're taking shots? Is it third and long where, Coach Munkin is giving us a green light to test those throws? So I think it's just really just finding those situations within the game and being smart, and then watching the tape and actually, sitting down with the coaching staff and then, reviewing it so we don't, make those same mistakes, or, even if it does, work, all right, we don't want to go and have a living on those type of throws and situations.
Shador saying the other day that he wants to see you and Shador in preseason games because obviously you guys can get hit. That's a different situation than when you're out in practice, especially for you. You haven't been hit in a couple of years now. What extra layer of evaluation maybe does that add for you in the preseason game?
I mean, for me, it's just really just being able to play live football against a different opponent. So, I'm not worried about being hit or anything like that. That's part of the game. So, but as far as me just operating in a live setting without being on the practice field and coaches being on the field with you, that's what I'm looking forward to, and just getting those reps.
Shador was talking about how Coach makes practice very game-like. In what ways do you feel like he does that? In having been in games before, what can't you replicate, no matter how hard you try when you're out there, beyond obviously the contact that you'll face from defense?
I think the biggest thing is just really, I think what we just talked about is just those mistakes. The interceptions, the turnovers, the bad operation. Those things get you beat. So again, I think that's the biggest thing, where you got to take it with a grain of salt. You got to kind of, again, you got to learn from it. You got to pick your spots. And sometimes, we might get a little too greedy and, try to do some things and it goes the wrong way. And then we got to go back and watch the tape and know, in this situation, these are the things that can lose you ball games, and be able to check it down. So, you take that, you put it in your memory bank, and then the next rep, you try to improve from it.
What about rhythm? How does a game setting help you build rhythm differently from practice?
Yeah, because the games is a lot faster. A lot faster. People are thinking differently. You don't have those times where you're kind of prepping on, again, this is third down. So, third down, we're going to play the sticks. Rather in a game where you got to be locked in on the situation. The plays, you're thinking about the last rep, the last play, but, and you forget that it's third down, second down, or, you might play it a little bit differently in practice. So, all those things just gotta, it takes time, and the more opportunities we get in preseason to be able to get those opportunities and reps is very helpful.
Deshaun, what do you think you've learned most about yourself since training camp began?
Learn most about myself. I mean, I already know who I am, so I don't think anything.
But I mean, as far as your, getting back into football.
I mean, it's just, it's like riding a bike. It's just kind of getting back and just playing football, playing free. I think the biggest thing is just really mental. Is my mental side is really just coming in, taking it one day at a time, not worried about what's going on outside, and just focusing on my opportunities.
I've never heard so much use of the word cadence at a training camp. Every day it comes out from Coach Mark. As a 10-year veteran at your position, are you as frustrated about what's going on as he appears to be?
I mean, yeah, I think Coach is definitely going to be frustrated because, he wants perfection, and that's what we strive for. And you want a coach that is striving for that. Even one pre-snap penalty, two pre-snap penalties, it might seem small in the grand scheme of things, but those things get you beat, like I mentioned before. So, this is very similar to how my training camps were back when I first got drafted with Coach Bill O'Brien. Very aggressive, very intense. He wants perfection, especially coming from the New England system with Brady. Everything was to the beat, to the, crossing the T's and dotting the I's. So, I'm very familiar with that, and, we got to stay on top of those things because, they're either going to help you or they're going to, help you lose a lot of games.
Sean, two things real quick. How much do you think it will help you once you get to take those, or if you do get to take those first team reps every day to develop that continuity day after day after day with the 11s, and then I have another one after this?
Yeah, I mean, it's very helpful. I think it's very helpful when you get to, speak with or play with the same guys, practice with the same guys, so you kind of build that trust and you build that, okay, this guy's coming out this way. Everyone is different. Everyone has different tendencies. Everyone has different ways of running routes and how explosive they are, catch radius, everything about that. So, it's obviously it's hard to going back and forth and different guys, but, you just try to, learn as much as possible and try to trust it as much as possible until that opportunity comes.
And then the other thing real quick is the fact that 9 times out of 10, when I see you make a throw, it goes exactly where you want it to go, and it looks very accurate, it looks great. Occasionally, it looks like maybe the ball didn't go exactly where you want it to go. Is that just typical, normal practice for any quarterback, or are you still kind of knocking a little bit of rust off, or what happens when you see a pass that looks a little off?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not every quarterback's going to be perfect. So I don't think it's just no different than Steph Curry going and shooting a three. Sometimes it looks really, really good, but that's not the first time he's tried that. So a lot of times he missed a lot of shots, and you keep repeating it until you get it perfect. So sometimes it's going to be off. Defense give you different looks. They get paid on the other side, and we have a really good defense, and they're doing a lot of different things, disguising and making it tough for the offense. So you just try to time it up, and the ball doesn't go that way, and they be in the right spot. So again, that's what the tape and this time period is for, is being able to learn and gain that trust and gain that experience, so you can put it in your memory bank and move forward.
Deshaun, when you get back on the field, like in your mind, do you envision yourself playing exactly how you did in Houston, or do you think that you maybe have to change up your style a little bit, just given injuries and years and that's
Yeah, I mean, I'm different, man. I think ever since I've been here, early on, I think, bringing up Houston was cool, but I'm 30 now, so I think I had some injuries and things like that, so my game has definitely changed, but the mentality and how I play and what how I approach it doesn't. So I don't know. I think just going out there and just playing free and let my instinct just take over. So I think that's the biggest thing. And I've always had a coach. My Coach O'Brien always told me, I always trust my instincts. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just go out there, play free, and let the game come to me.
This is your fifth
Two
year.
more and we're gonna wrap.
Your fifth
Tony
year.
just fumbled.
Do you think you're practicing better than you ever had as a Cleveland Brownie?
Of course, yeah, of course. I have a clear vision, I have a clear mind. So, I mean, I think the world know what I went through. It's no secret, off the field and then on the field also with injuries. So, I think for anybody that had what I went through, I think would be in a different spot maybe. So I think I'm mentally tough and dealt with it. Is best as I possibly could to be able to be standing here talking with you guys, So I think if I would have handled it differently, I definitely wouldn't be, sitting right here, in front of you guys on my 5th year.
Deshaun, in recent days, you really thrived with them patching the scramble.
Go ahead, Harry.
Thank you, sir. In recent days, you really thrived with them passing on the run, and that's an integral part of your game now. Things you get from injury. How's it been for you post-injury, but then reacclimating that your game and just levels of comfort?
It's been good. I think being able to practice it and be able to get out on the field, and I know it's not live, but guys are chasing us. Our defense is doing a heck of a job of reacting and being full speed to the point of attack. It's been really good to be able to test, my injuries and see where I'm at and my strengths. So I think I'm in a good spot and confident that, it's going to continue to just get better and improve.
Deshaun, you talked about the pre-snap stuff and kind of working through that. What is, especially when you have a new offensive line, totally different in front of you than you worked with before, what does the work look like both on the field and off the field to kind of get some of that correct? Behind the scenes, but also when you guys are out?
A lot of film study, a lot of one-on-one time, and just a lot of just communication. I think just normal conversation, when we're eating lunch, dinner, breakfast in the locker room, just kind of bringing it up, showing them different clips, and then once we get on the field, just try to apply everything that we talked about off the field, on the field, and see how fast we can, operate it and see it and just go out there and try to execute. So it's a lot of just talking and just watching it and just being on the same page.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.